Hey, what's up, Silver Stackers? Thank you so much for being here. This is Silver Slayer. The cat is out of the bag. The silver shortage is no longer a myth. It's no longer a conspiracy. You know how many articles I covered where people claim there's no shortage and that all the people saying that have no clue what we're talking about? And I think a lot of people target the YouTubers because they just assume that we're newer and we don't know what we're talking about and we're just trying to make videos to hype it up. But that's the farthest thing for the truth, at least on my channel. I've been making videos since 2015 and I go through articles all day long, right? This is all within a 2-day period. All these articles. You know what I do? I go through every single one of these articles. I read through it and highlight the most important stuff. Right now, we're going to be covering the lack of silver in the LBMA vaults. Now, we know that the vaults have been emptied, coin and bars on allocation as demand for physical silver continues. We also have another article that is talking about how the metals gain as supply issues persist. Another article, silver production in Peru down 9.1% in June. We know that Mexico and Peru accumulate nearly 40% of the entire silver production, just those two countries alone. We also have another article talking about how silver prices rally as LBMA stocks fall to 6-year lows. So no, the silver shortage is not a myth. If you're a fan of my channel or if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, even I've been talking about this since 2020, early 2020, maybe even 2019, that this is real. And eventually the cat's going to jump out of the bag. And when these big industrial companies realize it, they're going to be buying boatloads. The producers will turn into the consumers, and the consumers will turn into the producers. The people like you and I that want the silver will be selling it to the people that need the silver. We just want it. They need it. If you want the newest, latest iPhone, you better hope that they need it. If you want the newest, latest Tesla, I mean, just think about the reality of Joe Biden coming out and saying the Green New Deal has to be put to a halt, or we have to, cut back on the amount of solar panels, or Elon Musk saying that we're going to cut back on the amount of Teslas coming out next year, or to any extent. This is the reality we live in. We don't have enough silver. And it's not just the investment sector. We're going into the industrial sector now. We exceeded 1.12 billion ounces this year alone. Imagine how many billions of ounces we're going to need in the next 4 or 5 years. 2 billion, 3 billion ounces. All I know is we just got started into this new green revolution, and we're already in a supply deficit. So 1 + 1 = 2. Low supply, high demand pushes the price up. So anyways, let's look into this. The link to this article will be in the description. I've covered most of these articles before, but I just wanted to give some context on how much information, how many news articles are starting to talk about it. Before, it was, once in a blue moon you would see someone, but most of the articles are talking about how there is no silver shortage, kind of like dunking on us. And I would sit there and say, these guys are wrong. They don't know what they're talking about, But anyways, let's jump into this. So we published total vault holdings data as part of our continued efforts to improve transparency in the local London precious metals market, which also includes reporting the weekly LBMA trade data. The statistics below include the holdings of the London commercial vaults as well as the Bank of England's gold holdings. The bank does not hold any silver, which is very interesting. And by the way, going to this chart, you could see that gold isn't scarce. That's why gold has no premiums, right? Silver's scarce. That's why silver has premiums. You can buy gold at nearly spot price. Always could and probably always will, because gold isn't scarce. Silver's a byproduct. Now, here's the value of gold and silver held in London vaults. As end of July, I don't know why they're writing this. I'm not misspelling or my grammar isn't off. They're writing this very weirdly. End July 2022, the amount of gold held in London vaults was 9,617 tons, 0.03% increase on previous month, valued at $542.1 billion, which equates to approximately 769,326 gold bars. The ratio of gold held at the Bank of England versus commercial vaults is the lowest since reporting started in July 2016, which is interesting because that's also when silver finally broke above $20 for the first time. The July 2016 high of $21 silver. I remember making daily videos back then, just like I am today on this channel, and we all like celebrated, like silver finally broke above $20. It's funny because a lot of us look at $20 and we think it's extremely low. Anyways, there were also 29,576 tons of silver, which is negative 4.7% on the previous month, valued at $19.1 billion, which equates to approximately 985,875 silver bars. This is the lowest amount of silver held in the vault since reporting, starting in July 2016. These figures provide an important insight into London's ability to underpin the physical OTC market. And the important part about this is, if all those people turn those contracts into physical delivery, the Comex would fall. It would collapse within itself. Or, and here's the best way to put it, actually. This is the most simple way that I like to put it. Every ounce of actual silver you hold in your hand, 100 other people theoretically own that same ounce. But they don't actually own it because you're the only one that's holding it. Theirs is just a digit on a screen. If you can't hold it, you don't own it. So anyways, I did want to go into one other article that I don't remember covering. The supply stuff, that's obvious, right? Silver is getting harder and harder to find. It's a byproduct. Mexico and Peru accumulate 40%. The top 5 is like Mexico, Peru, Chile, Australia, China. Those are the countries that are digging up all the silver, but it's a byproduct. They find it by accident. There's very few focal silver mines. And actually, I covered a video the other day where there was going to be a mine, I think it was in Canada, and they protested the silver mine because they were saying that toxic chemicals were entering their groundwater and shut the silver mine down. It's kind of funny, though. But anyways, silver prices rally as the LBMA stocks fall to 6-year lows. Silver has started to turn around in the last week, rising over 4%. Let me see when this article was written. August 9th. So, not too long ago, 2 days ago. Although silver usually tracks gold's footsteps, currently it is seeing far more gains than gold, which is up only about 2.3%. This is largely driven by falling silver inventories, as well as the fact that even when increasing, silver is still far cheaper than gold. Hence, with recessionary fears looming and investors rushing towards safe haven assets, silver is the more affordable choice. And I don't even think it's just because it's more affordable. There's just so much more opportunity for silver to rise than gold. I mean, look at the price alone. The gold to silver ratio at what, like 90 to 1? And if you're going to look at the reality of it coming out of the ground, 7 to 1, 8 to 1, then that should be what it's marketed at. Or even 16 to 1, some could say, since it was 16 to 1 for thousands of years. Regardless, 90 to 1, 80 to 1, 70 to 1, even down 40 to 1 is extremely exaggerated because silver is much more valuable, much more useful than gold is. The ratio should be 90 to 1, flip-flop. Silver is 90 times more valuable because silver is 90 times more useful as a critical role as we advance, where gold is just used for bars and earrings and necklaces, just stuff that sits around. Silver has real-world uses, so I don't see how silver could be so cheap compared to gold. I do think, though, given that same reason, silver will take on a life of its own and start to pull away from gold regardless of what gold prices do. Silver is going to do what it does, regardless of what the dollar index does, regardless of what stock markets do, regardless of stock market volatility. Silver is going to be like, yo, I don't care what y'all are doing. I'm in my own lane because the stuff that is affecting me pushing the price higher, you have no part in. Gold has no part in the green revolution. There's a small percentage of gold in cell phones. I used to scrap gold out of cell phones myself. I mean, but nowhere near compared to silver. All right. So, and then one could argue even saying, well, they're going to learn how to cut down the amount of silver in solar panels and EVs. And yes, that's true. Right now, there's about 58 grams of silver per EV. They're trying to cut it down to around 25 grams, but that's not going to be enough. Yes, they're going to start recycling more, but that's not going to be enough. We're looking at the entire world going solar. And even like David Morgan and these other people, Ted Butler, Keith Newmar, a lot of these guys, they get it. They get it. They come out and say, "Yo, we do not have enough silver for the world to go green." What did David Morgan say? Anyone who thinks that we have enough silver to go green, they're the dreamers. He said, "Leave that for the dreamers." One other person, I forget who said, "You're delusional if you actually think we have enough silver." But I mean, that's the truth, though. They're just dreamers. They're just living in this fantasy land. It's not realistic. So, anyways, this is an interesting part. A key part of this issue is that most of the silver held in the LBMA vaults are silver by ETFs such as iShare, the SLV, PSLV, WGRO, which is Wisdom Tree physical silver, with the actual amount of physical silver was only about 11,601 tons, about 37% of the total vault amount. Out of this, a large proportion is held by family offices, high net worth individuals, and investment institutions, which further reduces the amount of actual silver available for sale. This leads to silver squeezes, such as the one in February 2021, when ETFs accounted for about 85% of the total silver stored in the LBMA vaults. With a similar situation unfolding at the moment as well, silver prices are soaring as investors and manufacturers alike worry about not being able to get their hands on adequate supplies. A tightening monetary policy by the Federal Reserve, as well as increased recessionary fears and slowing economic growth, have also driven more safe haven demand to silver, which in turn have pushed prices up. There's actually a direct correlation to silver prices and the demand. It's almost exact. If you ever look at a chart, when silver demand is high, silver's price is high, almost identical. When silver demand is down, price is down. We know demand is going to be booming over the next 10 years, so what does that tell you about the price? So I don't want to go into the main silver players. I don't want to go into who, these corporations. But let's look at this. What is the silver outlook for the rest of 2022? So this should be pretty important, right? According to Capital.com analyst David Jones, silver is approaching an important area of technical resistance in the $20, I just made a video about this earlier today, $20.50 zone. It encompasses the 50-day moving average, which has been trading above the metal's total price for more than 3 months. So he's looking like there should be support area May, or there was support area May, broken down in June, rapid sell-off, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here we go. On the upside, silver is also currently being used more as a portfolio diversifier since the beginning of the conflict between those two countries. This trend is likely to continue in the coming months as well, and it will cost or will most likely drive more silver demand, pushing up prices somewhat. Other than that, though, silver is used in several green technologies such as EVs, solar panels, which are expected to continue to recover this year, which will further drive the precious metals demand. And remember what I said about demand? When demand rises, price rises. So yeah, I mean, this is stuff that if you watch my channel, it's not anything crazy, but I'm sure there are a lot of people that have not found my channel yet or are very new and need to be introduced to this stuff. Like I said, I've seen so many articles of people saying there is no silver shortage. These guys don't know what they're talking about. And I know they're directly talking to channels like mine. I'm sure a lot of them are talking about me in particular, right? They probably just think I'm just some YouTuber that jumped on the scene a couple of years ago, probably around the Wall Street Silver era, just to make money making videos. No idea that I'm actually sitting here all day long researching, doing the work, reading the data, putting out the numbers, making sure I'm putting out good content. I've been doing this every single day since 2015. Daily videos since 2015. So you gotta look into someone. Maybe because I'm younger, because I'm 30 years old or something. I don't know. Regardless, though, I know what I'm talking about. I've been talking about the silver shortage for a very long time now. Probably one of the first YouTube channels to really push it into the limelight because I see how important it is. And that's the craziest part, is that's not the main angle. We also have the US dollar collapsing, right? That's a whole different angle of why you need to invest in precious metals as well. I was interviewing Andy Scheckman from Miles Franklin, the CEO, the company that filled that $50 million order from that lady from Texas that's a billionaire. I was interviewing him, and I was talking about silver, triple digit silver by the year 2025, and he says, because I listed all the reasons, with the green revolution, he said, yes, I completely agree, but he thinks it's sooner because there's also this whole situation with the dollar. And it's like, wow, you're right, and he went in deep. He went into some deep stuff. I highly recommend you go check out that interview. I put a snippet of the interview a day later of just him going over that part, so you can check that out as well. But regardless, buy silver and don't sell it. It's as simple as that. That's so hard for people for some reason, but I'm sure if you're watching this video, you get the gist, especially if you stuck around this long. You didn't click off the video thinking you know everything. You stuck around, wanted to get every single ounce of information, and I respect that. So yeah, if you want to subscribe, if you think my channel's worthy of a subscription, I post daily videos. I post a lot of content like this. I do unboxings, I do giveaways, I do everything. I do stacking strategy videos, I do it all. If you think this video is worthy of a like, please like the video as well. The link to this article will be in the description. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.